Welcome back to part 2 of our Aiogram tutorial, and now I'll be going through filters. So remember in the first tutorial we went through commands, and commands is our most basic filter to filter based on what the user command has inputted, right? So in example, the user inputted start, then this function handles start command. And we can actually add multiple commands such as start, starts, and starting, and it's all registered to one single function. And while this function just handles the command help. But if you notice, message handler has actually many different other filters, and commands is just one of them. He has custom filters, commands, regular expressions, content types, and state. Custom filters are basically your Lambda expressions that are provided by Python. So if you're able to write your own filter, for example, you want to handle something like if it's capitalized or not, then we're able to check for that, and if you value is true, then that function handles it. Next one is commands, which we went through the first tutorial. Just simply just define what commands is registered to function. Next one is content types. Content types will be essentially you want to check whether or not if you want to register a function to handle only photos, you register only to stickers or documents, you're able to do that. And state is your finite state machine. So if you want to create something like a sequential way, and a specific function can actually register a specific state, and that is pretty powerful. But I will leave it for another tutorial because we have to talk pretty much. There's quite a bit to go through on states. So first things first, let's just go straight into content types. Let's say I want to create a handler that just handles photos. So we can easily do that by content types equals to types dot content type dot photo. Okay, and what this does is essentially this function will be handling just photos. So let's just create async photo handler. This is a photo. We can also take a step further and do it for documents as well. Okay, and let's just go and try and run it. And let's just try a sample photo. Okay, this is a photo, and let's try to send documents. This is a cool document. Okay, sorry. So now that we've done that, now notice that this function is handling photos and its documents. But if we go on to actually go back to this, and you notice that actually content type or content types, they both have the same attribute actually. So you can use either of those. Notice both of them has many different types of fields: dice, document, game, and even has stickers. So we can actually create as many types of you can create many types of filters for actually many types of content types. So let's say the most general one that's provided is actually any. So what this does, it handles practically anything: text, photos, documents, and whatsoever. So let's just delete this, and the next most important thing for this is we want to check what is actually the content type. So just use the content type attribute, and it can tell us what is it actually. They want to take it a further step. If message dot content type equals to photo, then you just await message dot reply, this is a photo, else I do not know what this is, for example. So let's just try and run that. Let's just say I want to send a photo. Okay, great. And let's say I want to send a document. Well, I don't know what this is. If I send stickers, I say I don't know what this is. So that's one way to filter based on what you actually send. Okay, so now moving on, let's go ahead to Lambda expressions. So Lambda expressions are basically your custom filters, and now you're able to actually define your own filter, and that's pretty powerful. So let's just start simple. Let's say I just want to handle capitalized words. Okay, so let's just create a lambda expression, and let's just call our argument message, and now we're going to return message.text is upper, and if this value is true, then this function now handles that. So caps handler, let's just reply, well, this is caps. So let's just go ahead and run that. Sorry, oh yeah, something that I missed on is any actually includes your text as well. So if you put this at the top, if you type any message, this will be first handled by this one. So let's just move this guy up first. So that's the problem with keeping it as general. It handles even text as well. So just be careful about that one. Okay, let's go and try that again. Okay, this is caps. And now if you actually put anything else, it'll be handled by the function that we talked about earlier. And yep. So let's say I want to handle other stuff like if a message ends with this and sender. Ends with yep. So what this does is this is just provided by Python. It's many string functions, and one of them just ends with. It just checks whether or not it ends with a full stop. So let's just try the simple one. So let's just say I put caps. I put caps there. If I put that, notice that it's still captured by this as caps because this whole thing is still considered as caps and it's captured by the first function. Let's just put, if I put something other than caps, then it ends with that. So notice, just to reiterate, it goes by sequential way. So yes, even though a capitalized word ends with a dot, it's captured by this one first because, well, this one evaluates the true first and thus it's handled by that, even though it contains the full stop at the end. So that's another thing that you should be wary about. So that's just basically filters. We went through content types. Content types has photos, documents, many other stuff, and more general one is any. Then we went through what are custom filters, which is your lambda expressions. You just pass in a message and you can do anything with the message that you wish to do with. And also basic filters, which is your commands. The next one we're going through is multiple filters. Okay, so now that we went through the basic filters, now let's just go on to multiple filters. So let's just start with content type. So the first thing first is that, let's say we want to handle, a function wants to handle either a photo document. So if it's either a photo document, then it should be handled by this function. If it's a sticker or something else, then it shouldn't. So one thing that we can easily do is just call it photo, photo, then types.content types document. So this all expression here, just used by here, will handle either a photo or document. Okay, so by assertion, this is a document. Okay, let's just go ahead and try that. Okay, this is a photo. Let's just send the documents. This is a document. If I send anything else, well, it's not gonna matter because it's not gonna be handled. So that's how you create two filters for this function. So it's either a photo or a document. Or another way you can do it is, well, dp.messageHandler content types. It's just put multiple handlers actually. Okay, and what this does is in a basically in an or manner. So it's either of these will happen. Either of these evaluates the truth, then it's handled. Okay. So let's just go ahead and try send a document. This is a document, and no, this is a photo. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, so that's for content types. Now suppose we want to create multiple filters for lambda expressions. Now, if you remember, message handler has a style operator, means it unpacks as many custom filters as we add. Now, if we add multiple lambda expressions in one handler, that means it's going to be an AND condition, right? So all these lambda expression has to evaluate to true. So if I add, let's just move this here and delete that. What this means that it has to be both upper and ends with a full stop. So it's going to be, this is upper and ends with a full stop. Because now we're adding the same handler, both of these has to evaluate to true. So let's go ahead and run that. Let's just create let's just put an upskirt, and it's handled by our safety net handler, which is, remember, it's at the very end. It just handles any text message that's not been captured by any of the previous functions. So meaning none of the filters actually evaluated for true for this specific text. And it makes sense because yes, it's true for this, it's upper, but it does not end with a full stop, so it's not captured by that. So let's move on and let's put a dot at the end. And there we go, it's handled by this function here. Okay, so that's the first case. So this is, and all of this has to evaluate to true. But what if you want to create a function that either it's upper or ends with a full stop? Remember this? Well, it's right here, multiple handlers. So let's just create an all menu. Let's just take this and let's create this. Let's copy and paste. Now the difference is it's upper or ends with a full stop. Okay, just for demonstration, if I put, this is the safety net handler, neither of those. If I put full caps now, wow, it's handled by the second function instead. So if you want to go through it sequentially, this evaluates to true, false, true and false is false, so this it's not going to be handled. However, this is OR, so if this is true, and that's all we care. So this is true, then this is handled by this one. We don't know what is actually the filter, so that's for you to implement the logic based on the message.txt. And if we create a small one with a full stop, wow, it's still handled by the second one. So you can see it's like if you add multiple filters, if one of you has a true, then this will be handled. And that's how you simply create multiple filters for this case. So just to recap, a message handler handles commands, content type, state, and other regular expressions as well, which we'll go through. That's for you to you actually have to get familiar with regular expressions. Custom filters are your lambda expressions. So basically you're able to create your own filters. You want to check whether or not the text is upper or not, then be able to create a lambda expression for that. If it evaluates the true, then that function handles it essentially. So for commands, you can create multiple commands. You put start, and starting. If either user types any of those, then this is handled. Or a single command, which is help. The next one is content types, which is this one. You can create a function to handle a specific content type. So if I create a single, let's just forget about that first, then this function handles only documents. Okay, then this function only handles photos. If I want to create a function that handles either a document or photo, then I can register it in multiple handlers, such as this. So now this function handles either a document or photo. Or if you remember, we can actually do something like this as well. Types content types dot document. This also works as well, but I prefer this to just keep it standardized. Okay, then the last one is, lambda expression. Lambda expression is basically your own custom filter that we added. So in this case, forgetting about this function only handles upper case words. Okay, if I remove this, this function only handles words with full stop. Now if I add two filters such as that, now that becomes an AND condition. All of this has to be evaluated true. If I add in this sequential way just like this, it's in an OR way, so if either of these evaluates true, then this function handles this. So that's simply the most basic filters that we'll be going through, and it's more than enough. So the next filter that we will step on is your states, and we'll go through that I think 1 or 2 tutorials from now. So yep, thanks for watching and see you soon.